Meanwhile,
people keep reacting emotionally to the idea of America stepping into Venezuela. They hear the words like takeover, intervention, and regime change. They immediately think Iraq, Afghanistan, forever war. But nobody wants to talk about why Venezuela actually matters. So let's break this down and talk strategically. Not morally, not emotionally, strategically. Venezuela is not just another failed socialist country. It is the single biggest collapse in history of the Western Hemisphere. Since around 2015, roughly 8 million Venezuelans have fled the country. That is not a right-wing talking point. That comes straight from the UNHCR. 8 million people do not flee a country because of sanctions. They flee a country because the system is breaking underneath of them. Hospitals collapse, currency collapses, and law collapses. And when a country collapses like that, it doesn't just hurt itself. It destabilizes everyone around it. This is the part nobody wants to admit. If Venezuela worked, if it functioned even at a basic level, millions of people would not be moving north. You want to reduce immigration pressure? You do not do it at the border, you do it at the source. That alone makes Venezuela America's business, whether people like it or not. But immigration isn't even the biggest reason Venezuela matters. Oil is. Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserves on earth. More than the Saudi Arabia, more than Iran, more than anybody. Most of it sits on untapped, underused, and it's rotting under corruption and incompetence. Right now, that oil is not benefiting America. It's not even benefiting Venezuelans. It is being fought over quietly by foreign interests. China, Russia, and the BRICS nations are the ones that are really trying to get a hold of this. People love to talk about American imperialism. They never considered when our rivals lock down resources that dictate the future of global power. Energy is not about cars or gas prices. Energy is industrial power. Energy is leverage. Energy is who bends and when things get tense. If you don't have, let's go basic. If you have more firewood in the winter than anybody else, are you going to be able to survive and save your family and heat them and make food more than somebody that has one log and you have 100 face cords? Yeah, that's going to make you have leveraging power to be able to get things from the person that doesn't have any logs to heat their house. Maybe they are an expert hunter. So they have meat, but they don't have warmth. So you trade them warmth for meat. It's fucking simple. Oh, anyways, if BRICS aligned nations gain dominant control over Venezuelan oil, America loses influence without firing a single shot. That is the real game. Now let's talk about the part that nobody says out loud. Venezuela under Maduro became a narco-state. Like, not metaphorically, like literally. State officials were implicated in trafficking. Ports were compromised. Airspace was compromised. Money laundering scaled through government institutions. Venezuela became a financial and logistical hub that benefited drug cartels from South America. This is not Colombia producing cocoa leaves. This is a country acting as a laundering and distribution backbone. It was a CIA hub. When people ask why drugs never seem to stop flowing north, this is part of the answer. So when people frame Venezuela as a humanitarian issue only, man, they are missing the security dimension completely. Now enter the Trump question. Whether people like Trump or not, he represents something very specific in foreign policy. Transactional thinking. No nation building fantasies. No democracy exporting ceremonies. No apologizing for having interest. Trump does not sell intervention as saving the world. He sells it as America winning. And this is why the Venezuela question exists. Because from a cold strategic view, The outside is obvious. Stabilize Venezuela so people stop fleeing. Break cartel their money laundering scheme. Deny BRICS any energy prize. Increase American energy dominance. This is the pro argument. Now, let's talk about the danger, because this is where I agree with the critics. If we go with the Middle East model, which was a failure, and we occupy, we pay, we bleed, we contractors get rich, other countries benefit more than we did, Israel. The worst of all, we never owned the outcome. That cannot happen again. If America ever puts boots, money, or leverage into Venezuela, there has to be a red line. No forever occupation, no open-ended rebuilding, no blank checks. And most importantly, no scenario where Americans do the work while someone else takes the fucking profit. If oil is the prize, then Americans must benefit from that oil directly. Not symbolic access, not promises, not vague partnerships, real control, real leverage, and real returns. People love to bring up Dubai as an example of what resource control can do. They missed the lesson. Dubai worked because the state controlled the asset and used it ruthlessly to build power. If America intervenes without ownership, it is charity at gunpoint. And charity at gunpoint always turns into resentment and failure. So here is the actual question no one wants to ask. Is America willing to act like a serious power again? Or are we still trapped in the moral theater while our rivals play real chess? We're over here playing checkers while these niggas playing chess, know what I'm saying? Because Venezuela is not about saving socialism's victims. It's not about looking tough. It's about whether the United States still understands how power works. Help Venezuelans succeed so people stop fleeing. Deny enemies control of the world's largest oil reserves. Crush a narco-state that destabilizes an entire hemisphere, but only if America wins. If the plan looks like Iraq, fuck that, walk away. If the plan looks like endless occupation, fuck that, walk away. If the plan benefits everyone except Americans, fuck that, walk away. Power without ownership is just sacrifice, and America has had enough sacrificing.
This is a video for all those liberals and leftists, mostly American, that I've seen in the media, complaining about what's going on in Venezuela, complaining about these military attacks against military buildings, against government buildings that were attacked today in the early morning. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, we have had 27 years of dictatorship in our country that has censored us, that has tortured us, that has killed us, and that made us go away from our country. Like, they made us run away from our own homeland. Do you ever imagine that you will have to do that? Like, do you even put yourself in the situation of what does that mean? I'm pretty sure you don't, because you still live here. Even though you complain about everything about this country, you still choose to stay here. So why don't you go to Venezuela? Why don't you go to Cuba? Why don't you go to Nicaragua? Why don't you go to any of these countries that pretty much share the views you have? The political views you have. So also, I'm doing this message in English because unfortunately American liberals are the ones talking about how bad this is and how the US wants to steal our oil, wants to steal our natural resources. Do you know that Russia, that Cuba, that Nicaragua, that all these communist countries, pieces of shit, have been stealing all that from my country already? Did you even know that? Like, why do you care what happens with our natural resources now? Why do you care about what happens in our land now? When not too long ago, people were being killed on the streets for protesting against the regime. While nowadays we have a center of torture in the capital of our country with thousands of political prisoners. So I ask you this: why do you feel that you are in the right to defend a dictator?